and that I had a wife who lived under the ocean. I truly believed that my mom was dead and that someone had shot my brother, and that someone really close to me had put a hit out on me. Hello everybody. And Shorty says, hello everybody. I wanted to give a quick update on healing. I walked almost a half mile today. So so that is awesome. That was a very awesomely timed cough. It's like when you call into work and you're like, I'm sick. I also wanted to sort of talk about the difficulty I am still running into discovering what I actually saw and heard while I was in the hospital after once I started to actually breathe on my own on day 16, and they brought me out of the coma. I had an extremely strong case of post-ICU delirium, and if you mix that with my already existing mental happy things that occur with me, it was a messed up ride in my head, and I'm still learning what exactly happened versus what my brain came up with during my comatose stage and after. Because for everyone else, it was 16 days that I was unconscious on a ventilator. But for me, the dreams were so fluid. The dreams were so vivid and full of vibrant colors, people, feelings. It was absolutely real. And I spent a 6-month time frame in a coma. It was really 16 days, but for me it was 6 months. So when I came out of it, not only was I confused about everything, I felt as if I'd been there for 6 months. And there's a lot of little things, like phone calls I thought I had, people I thought I talked to, people who visited me. I thought my mom had come to visit me, and we had a very nice conversation. It was really nice to see her. Nope, that didn't happen at all. I wasn't allowed, and no one was allowed visitors in the hospital. Didn't matter if you were in really serious condition like myself and others in the ICU. There are no visitors at all, and it's really lonely. But one of the things I had when I was out in the comatose state, it was I won't be able to describe it well, but so I'm in this chamber, but the chamber is actually the inside of someone's stomach, and the walls, if you will, are just the inside lining of someone's stomach, and there's mucus and other fluids just oozing down the walls, and you could see a hole in the stomach leading down to the twisted, really nasty worm-like structure of the intestines. And it was a hole in the ground, and there was a man in there who was connected to the stomach wall by some type of an umbilical cord that was just dripping blood and mucus. And the only way I would be allowed to leave is I had to tickle him like the doughboy, and then tell a joke while tickling to make him laugh. But anytime he laughed, I was involuntarily had to vomit, and so did he. And he vomited blood and tissue and other things right on me and on my face. And I was supposed to be allowed to leave after I was able to make him tickle, and then the stomach contracted and expanded with his tickling, so it was like he was inside out and we were inside his stomach. But the only way I could leave after making him laugh was to go down that really dark, awful looking hole. And I did, but I'm gonna stop it there because what happened, indescribable, and I cannot verbally articulate adequately the horror and awfulness of it. But on a more pleasant, weird note, another dream sequence I had, and these all tie together. That's why it was so weird in the whole 6-month time span, because that incident eventually tied into this incident about the lady that had an undersea kingdom, and her father didn't approve of me, so I was ferried down into the depths of the ocean and given a powder that would allow me to breathe down there. And when she was on land, they kept her in a fish-shaped fish tank. And you couldn't see her, but we would communicate by tapping. I would tap the outside of her case, and she would tap the inside of her case. And we made our own little tap language, to where you could say I could say I love you, and she could say it back by tapping. And so her father didn't want her to marry me, so I got ferried down there. And there was this whole chamber full of people, and just dead silence as I approached this throne. And she was sitting next to him, and he just told me why he did not like this or did not like that. So he brought in a whole bunch of other fishmen, if you will, and he's like, see, she must pick one of these to marry. And they were all trying to show off to him, and I just looked at her and I tapped my chest like that to say a few words to her that I'm sorry you're having to watch this awful and embarrassing show of guys trying to gain your attention. And somehow her grandmother in the audience understood our language, and so she came out with a bunch of fish eggs, like a container, and poured it over my head, and the fish eggs just kind of rolled off to my shoulders, and then they just scattered everywhere, but still sticking to me. And then she explained that this was the fish god's way of picking me, and that her son, the king, needed to abide by those laws. So I did get to marry her. I know that's just a weird, not even that interesting of a dream, but that does eventually tie into the awfulness of the other. And I was still convinced for days after I was woken that those things happened, and that I had a wife who lived under the ocean. I truly believed that my mom was dead, and that someone had shot my brother, and that someone really close to me had put a hit out on me, and I had a whole bunch of Colombian drug money that the FBI was after me, and my doctors were aliens. And those little soap dispensers, they didn't have soap, they had a paste that the doctors needed to survive, because their alien diet wouldn't allow them to eat human food, so they ate that paste. And they tried to kill me several times. And yeah, I just wanted to give y'all an idea of what the headspace can be like when you have no control over what your head and what your mind wants to do. And there are other happy little weird things, but there are much more awful things that my mind had come up with. So waking up, and I'm still learning today. So it is really confusing, still trying to separate what happened and what didn't. But yeah, I just want to let you know that I'm still healing and I'm still trying. I'll always keep trying. And I am happy that I'm getting better at separating what's real and what was not, what's not. And this level of support from you guys has been ridiculous, and I cannot tell you how much that helps, knowing that other people are experiencing this kind of stuff, have experienced it, what they've done to fight back. And I think that's the only way to gain some traction, is to fight back in unorthodox ways and thinking outside the box, whatever works for you, because in the end you're you and I'm not. No matter how much I care, you have to find what works best for you and follow that path as aggressively as you can until you're happy with the results you're getting. Anyhow, I'm gonna go. You guys are amazing and you're awesome. And thank you. In all seriousness, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because verbally, I don't hear very often what you guys are physically writing me. So it helps when I can not hear it, but see it and know that I am not alone and that you guys are there. Because I don't always get that out here. I rarely get that out here. So thank you for providing me this space to talk to y'all, and thank you for providing me with so much love. Okay, you guys have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And you made this big old wide world a little better, and I'm sorry I can't make you better. I can't imagine my bed empty without you laying next to me to wake me up with your paw hitting me in the face.